Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to the JFD Brokers Traders Tea Time with me, Dr. Chauskas. Today is the 2nd of August 2018. So welcome everyone. Welcome to this Thursday afternoon session where we're going to have a look at a few markets and how they're behaving right now, and there's a lot to show, to be honest. But before we do that, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. Also, just a very quick reminder of our JFD Brokers website, and specifically our JFD research page, where you can go in and have a look at different analysis that we do on a daily basis. And yep, feel free to check us out, and I believe you can find a lot of useful stuff here for yourselves. So, but for now, let's have a look at the markets. Now, the first one I want to touch on is actually the FTSE 100. Now, all the European markets are mainly in the red today, and heavily in the red today. And as you can see by the FTSE here, FTSE has been forming this rising channel formation here since around the 25th of June, and now we can see that we've broken it to the downside, and now we're testing these lower levels here. We almost managed to touch this key area of support that I had marked here at around 75.45. We're just shy of a few points away from that, and currently just balancing around this 100 EMA shown here as the green line. So certainly if this is going to close here, and if we're going to see a nice close today below this rising channel, then yep, certainly this is opening the path towards lower levels, and specifically talking about the 75.10. Now this level, I was talking about this level in one of my previous videos where I've talked about the FTSE, and this is the one to watch. But certainly, of course, keep an eye on this one first, the 75.45. We need to see a nice good break here below in order to kind of start positioning ourselves for the 75.10. And as you can see, that slightly below that, we do have the 200 EMA running here as well, which could also prove to be a nice good area of support initially. But if that doesn't hold, if neither of these areas will hold, then well, I mean, this is not looking good for the FTSE, and we could see further declines, and we could see maybe this one rolling over here towards the 74.40. This is a very good level to watch here. We can see it acted as a nice area of resistance here around the 24th of April. So this is the one to watch after, if we get, of course, if we get a break here below this this key area here, the 75.10 and the 200 EMA. And if that doesn't hold, if the 74.40 doesn't hold, well, I mean, we could continue pushing lower here, and maybe even touch this this low here at around 73.36, around there, which you can see that has been the low here around the 25th of April. Now, another thing to kind of point out here, guys, if you actually draw a fib here, let me just quickly get a Fibonacci here. So a Fibonacci retracement here, and just approximately to see how much further this could continue dropping. And you can see that my 75.10 level is just around the 38.20, around the 38.2% here, and if on the Fibonacci retracement. So this makes it a nice potential area for support initially, of course. But like I said, if this continues to move lower, we could start aiming for the 50% retracement here on the fib, and which is around the 73.85 mark approximately there. So yep, and if that doesn't hold, well, we could move a little bit lower here towards the levels that I've just discussed, the level that I've just discussed, the 73.36. So for now, guys, keep all eyes are on this, on the first potential area of support at around 75.45, and of course the next one could be the 75.10. Let's look quickly at Dow Jones. Now, Dow Jones certainly yesterday we saw that it closed in the red, and judging by the of course the European markets, I mean there could be a chance that we could see a further drop here in the Dow, and like just a continuation here to the downside. The first one to watch here, the first good potential level to watch is the 25,215 mark. Now we can see that acted as a very nice good area of resistance here around the 18th of July, but if that continues to drop, well, I mean it could be opening the path towards this even better level here that I've got marked, the psychological 25,000. And as you can see here on around the 23rd of July, it held nicely here, and it held nice, it acted as a very nice area of support. So this is something for you guys to keep an eye on the downside. And like I said, for now, certainly the first one to watch is the 25,215, and of course, if, like I said, if this continues to drop, now this is the 25,000, the psychological 25,000 could be a possible area for a test. So let's say you could, of course, potentially enter a position here somewhere below the 25,215, and then aim for the psychological 25,000. Certainly, of course, have your stop loss in place now. I mean, that's quite important, guys. I mean, you probably don't trade without any stop losses. But anyway, you be the judge, and this is just an idea. Let's jump into one commodity that I really wanted to show you guys, and that's coffee. Now, certainly for all you coffee lovers, this is something to watch out for. Certainly, as you can see, we're in a bit of a decline here in the past few days. We have been in a bit of a decline. We're now moving towards this key area of support around 110.70. Let's see if it holds or not. And as you can see by these arrows, this is a possible scenario that we could see maybe a rejection here around this level, and then a push higher again. But of course, slightly below that, we do have this short-term upside support line running here since around the 6th of July, which could actually play out nicely as well if we get a break here below the 110.70 that I was just talking about. So if we get a break and a close here below, this is the one to watch here underneath. I mean, keep an eye on this upside support line. If we get a nice bounce here from this one, we could maybe see this commodity picking up again and maybe moving towards higher levels. But if you, let's say, want to be on a more cautious side, this you of course could start looking at higher levels and positioning yourselves for a possible trade if we get a nice break and a close above this level right here, around the 116.50 level. So just kind of could put it be as an let's put it that way, be a nice confirmation for a potential upside move. But like I said, only if we get a nice break and a close here above this level. And this is where we could start positioning ourselves for higher levels. Certainly the first good potential area to watch could be this one, 120.20. And if that doesn't hold, well, it could end up moving towards this 200 EMA. But of course, if we do see a move like that, then we'll just have to evaluate it from there. But this is something to watch out for, and for those traders who like to trade commodities, something for you guys to keep an eye on. Let's jump into a few pairs now. So the first one I want to touch on is, of course, GBPUSD. As you can probably, if you're probably aware, then we did have the BOE coming out with this policy statement, and the rates have been lifted, let's put it that way. And yep, so we saw this reaction. So initially we saw a good reaction to the upside on GBPUSD, and as you can see, let me just kind of put it back here in auto, and as you can see, we had this spike higher. We've managed to reach this level around 131.25. Now this is what I was talking about this morning as well, guys. I mean, certainly I was talking about this level right here. Certainly if we would get a nice break and a close above this, then this could open the path towards higher levels. But as you can see, we've just touched it and quickly retraced back down. So now we've moved below this 130.80 level. Certainly we had a nice drop here towards around the 130.15 level, but as you can see now the pair is kind of trying to retrace back, trying to kind of get get all the lost grounds back, and let's see if it actually works out for it or not. But the main level to watch today is the 130.80. Keep an eye on that one, guys. If we still get a close below this, well, I mean, this could continue moving lower. We could see maybe a further continuation to the downside, maybe even towards the psychological 130 level, or even just slightly below that towards the 129.95. I just want to point out that we're actually still within this downwards moving channel here. So until we've broken the upper bound of it, we're still gonna probably be more bearish on this one than bullish, and certainly, like I said, but for us to kind of to start examining higher levels in the long run, we would need to see a nice good clear break and a close above this upper bound of the falling channel. So something for you guys to keep an eye on, and as I said before, for now keep an eye on this level right here, the 130.80. Let's see where it closes today. Let's jump into USDJPY now, and USDJPY is gonna move lower. Certainly still overall we're kind of holding on to this upwards moving support line here that has been running here since around the 29th of May. Of course, even though we are moving lower here, still the kind of on the bigger picture, we could see something like this happening. So let me just draw a few arrows, and this is what we could see basically. So we could maybe see a drop here, get a rejection around this upwards moving support line, and then another push higher. But that said, as you can see from here, you can see that I've got this highlighted area here around the 111.40 mark. So this proved to be in the past as a quite important level, and let's see if actually it closes below this level today or not, because if it does close it, then yep, then the possible scenario which draws this arrow here could be seen later on. We could see a further decline here and a test of this upside support line, from which could potentially get rejected and move back up again. But like I said, all eyes are on this 111.40 level. Let's see if it actually breaks it and closes below this level today. If it doesn't, then we actually could see maybe a reversal from this level here and another push higher, where we could test the 112.15 level that recently acted as a very strong area of resistance. So we could test that level again, but only if we get a rejection here from this 111.40. So something for you guys to keep an eye on. Let's see if this plays out nicely. Certainly, if this upside support line gets broken to the downside, well, we wouldn't jump into our selling positions here straight away. We would need to see a nice good clear break here below the 110.60, and this is where we could start. If we see a close below this level, this is where we could start positioning ourselves for lower levels. But for now, let's see what it wants to do with this 111.40. And one more pair that I really wanted to touch on, guys, quickly, is the euro against the Swedish crown. So let me just put a daily chart on this one quickly, and as you can see on this bigger picture, we are stuck here in this zone between these two lines here, between this upside support line that has been running here since around the 31st of January, and of course this downwards moving support line as well, which has been running since around the 3rd of May. And now, of course, if you consider this to be a triangle, even though it's, to be honest, not really a triangle, but nevertheless, if the pair is getting kind of stuck here in this apex, and for us to kind of take either of the sides here, we would need to see a nice break either through the upper side here, either through this downwards moving resistance line, where we could then position ourselves for higher levels, maybe even actually aiming for this level right here, the 10.48 48 mark approximately there. Or actually, if we get a break here below this upside support line, now this is where it could become more interesting for the bears, where we could then target the 10.17 mark initially, and then of course going lower towards the this next potential area of support around this 10.10 level, something like that, approximately there, which has been where the rate has been held on the 14th of June. So it was held here from moving lower. So from this is the point where it reversed back to the upside here. But like I said, we'll consider that level only if we get a nice clear break here below this upside support line here. So okay guys, that's it for today. Thank you very much for watching and listening. I hope you found it useful, and if you want to join me tomorrow morning at my Traders Espresso, and that's 6 o'clock GMT time, 7 o'clock British summer time. But for now, thank you very much, and bye bye.